In this video, we're just paying down debt. So let's get into it.
All right, so we got two loans from grad school. The first one is $17,989.54. The second one is $20,998.98. So we're paying that full amount, $38,988.52.
Which is today, the 18th of April, 2022.
And then we about to hit submit.
And
you gonna hit it?
Yeah, we're gonna hit it.
Make a payment.
And we just made the pay. Oh, error.
Wow.
Insufficient funds?
Oh, you ain't got no money. Yeah,
no. They don't take payments over $25,000 in a single transaction.
We learned something new today. They ain't trying to get our money. Can't exceed $25,000 for a single online payment. So I'll put through $25,000 and then see if they'll let us do the rest in a second single online payment in the same day. So now they're making me do math. Oh my goodness.
Don't make it complicated. Just pay one
loan. And do the other. Yeah, look at me making life complicated. Verify, submit the payment, please, while we playing games. All right, successfully submitted. We printing payment confirmations out here because ain't nobody
got the email
time.
Though. You guys can't see it, but I got the notification where it's like, we're just confirming you made a payment. So
all right,
it did go through, but we're saving the receipt of the payment.
Return to account summary. Okay, please note you're scheduling another payment for this date. I am aware. Thank you for letting me know that I'm making 2 payments in one day. Verify and submit the payment. Perfect.
All right, and there we go. Second payment has been made.
Yeah, so it'll be reflected in 2 days. Got the confirmation email. Perfect. Got to save these confirmation emails, you know?
That feels good. So about $40,000 gone just like that.
So in a couple of days, this is going to drop to 40-something.
And I'm going to show you guys what my balance is as of right now. Just so you know, I ain't lying. $83,000, and we just paid off essentially
right here,
$40,000.
38 something.
Just a couple thousand shy of $40,000. So that number is going to almost be cut in half. And then now that we have paid off my loans, paid off almost $40,000 of mine, we're going to go to Nelnet, which is Akiva's loan servicer, and we're going to go there and make the remaining $20,000 payment.
I'm about to hit the pay now button.
And I will,
I'll just black that out.
$21,578.29 is what we're going to pay right now. Cleva's clicking on pay now. And just like that, another $20,000 is out of our lives.
Hey, Wealth Builders!
Welcome back to another episode of The Bemused. My name is Mishak.
And I'm Akiva.
And on this channel, we talk about all things personal finance for young adults just like you and us.
So if you're new around here, come on and join the Wealth Builder squad by hitting that big red subscribe button. And while you're at it, click that little notification bell so that you don't miss a single video that we post along this journey.
All right, so if you've been following us, and if you haven't, we're just going to do a quick little recap of what we're doing here, right? So Akiva and I had a goal of paying down $90,000 of our $160,000 student loan debt in just 3 years. And that's 3 years from when we got married.
Yeah, and we posted a whole video about it back toward the beginning of this journey, which was 1.5 years ago, was when we got married exactly. And so we posted a video around then basically detailing our plans. If you missed that, we'll definitely link it up here in the cards if you're watching on YouTube. But essentially, what we thought back then was a super ambitious goal was to pay down $90,000 of our debt. Now, why did we choose $90,000? Where did that number come from? Essentially, we wanted to pay off all of our higher interest student loan debt. So anything that was above a 5% interest rate. And so that amounted to just over $90,000.
Yeah, and for us, ironically, that actually turned out to be our grad school loans that had higher interest rates, but that's just how it turned out to be. But if it was something else, we would have made the same analysis and payment plans.
Yeah, so grad school loans plus my Parent Plus loans from undergrad was also part of that as well.
Yes.
So as you'll see, we accomplished this super ambitious goal that we thought was ambitious for 3 years in half the time, you guys. We paid off $90,000 worth of student loan debt in 18 months, which is absolutely
it's crazy. And we actually paid off about $30,000 of that debt in 9 months, ahead of schedule, because we were planning to do about $30,000 each year. And we did, $30,000 in 9 months, which was like, wow, amazing. Let's keep pushing.
And 9 months later,
and then
double that.
And then 9 months later, we ended up now being able to do $60,000,
which you just would have saw a couple clips ago. So you might be wondering, okay, what was our thought process behind this, right? We're still in this forbearance time, thanks to the you-know-what. So why did we decide to just go ahead and, even though we didn't have to, make these large student loan payments anyway, right? As you guys know, I am very much the person that's like, give me the math answer always, and that's what I will do. But Mishak in this case had a little bit of a different perspective. And so the why we went ahead and actually did this, it was kind of a collaborative decision that we had to make. Because for me alone, I would have just rode this sucker out, not paid a penny until this forbearance was over, and went from there. And you guys are probably also wondering, like, isn't Mishak on public service loan forgiveness? Like, what's the point of paying down all this stuff? So let's talk about that a little bit, clear it up for the saints.
Yeah, so to rewind just a little, the reason why we paid off $30,000, I guess, to begin with, was because back then when we made the payment, I believe it was June of 2021, that's when, if you guys recall, it was all ending. Forbearance was going to end, and it was going to kick back, where interest was going to start to accrue. So that's why we made that payment at that time, and then they extended it, like I think that day or shortly after or something like that. So that explains why we made that first payment to begin with. So start from there. Now, 9 months later, we're in a situation where, at the time of this recording, it's been extended again. It was going to be, I believe, January of 2022 was going to be when forbearance ended. Then they extended it to May, and then now they've pushed it down even further to September. So here we are in April at the time of this recording, and still going forward to make this payment. But back to the how I'm feeling and forbearance and all of that. So me personally, I've heard some stories of some people getting to that 10-year mark on PSLF and being denied. And also for me, 10 years is just a really long time. Like at the current moment, I'm almost about halfway there. I'm about 4 years in. This month actually is going to make about 4 years that I've been in the program. But I'm just the type of person where I think about what I know now and what the decisions that I can make now that I know for a fact are going to affect the future, as opposed to waiting another 6 years and not knowing what might happen. Akiva does not agree with this. It's just like, hey, you're doing everything right. It shouldn't be a problem. Those people that have had those nightmare or horror stories, they might have done something incorrectly. You've been doing it right. This is going to be financially a better decision because we paid less. But like I said, it's that fair for me. It's just what happens if it isn't, and then how is this going to impact our future? So that's really where my head is at.
And I did run the numbers. Y'all know me. I ran the numbers to figure out how much money we'd be missing out on, going a different route and accelerating our debt payoff as opposed to him just writing out PSLF. And it came out to about $15,000, if I'm not mistaken, of additional money that we pay that we wouldn't have to if his loans got forgiven when they're supposed to. So again, is it the most optimal financial decision, the most optimal wealth building decision? Absolutely not. But it's a decision that we came to jointly, and that, at the end of the day, marriage, relationships, money, it's about compromise, and it's about making sure that both of you feel good about the path that you're on. And so, I was like, you know what, it's fine. Like he said, you really then have to be kind of tied to the requirements of this program in order to get the forgiveness.
And that's what I was going to say that I didn't mention earlier, as if you're not aware of, PSLF, you have to work for a qualifying employer and make 120 qualifying payments. So the reason why I'm saying qualifying is because not everything,
there's a little video. We made a video. Watch it.
Yeah,
Link up there.
You get that. And what it means is that I've always worked for a qualifying employer so far, but I don't know what's going to happen in 6 years and in 3 years and whatever, where another opportunity might come up where I could be making a lot more money. But okay, now I'm torn where it's like, ooh, I have to stay here for another 6 years or another 3 years, because while you might be doubling my pay, it's not going to work out because of this one thing that's holding me back. I I didn't like that. Again, ultimately, it just feels like I'm not in control, and I don't like that feeling at all. I like the feeling of, all right, we set a plan, we execute, that type of thing.
Oh, something else I forgot to mention in the video that I'll probably put in is another reason why I have solace about making these payments is because we can get a refund. Like, we can get this money back if we really wanted to. Because during the forbearance, one provision of the forbearance that any payments that you made since March 13, 2020, all through now until the forbearance ends, can be refunded. You just got to ask them. It'll take like a month, but you'll get it back. You have the right to get that money back. So if we decided in the end that we actually wanted this money back, we can do that. So that also gives me more comfort.
So now we're going to go into the how. How are we able to do this? I'm sure you guys might be thinking, like, how the heck are these guys able to pay off $90,000 worth of student loan debt in just a year and a half? Are they selling drugs? Are they, invested in crypto? What are they doing so that I can do it? And we're going to tell you. It's actually quite simple, and we'll break it down, but the overarching thing is multiple streams of income. That is it. That is the hack right there. And Akiva also put me onto an acronym last week. I think it's called DINK. Dual income, living with no kids, or something like that. Something like that. It's like, that's what we doing, y'all. Like, we have gotten married and, made conscious decisions on, all right, this is what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. We got to stick to our plan, and not just for a selfish thing. It's for when the family does come, that we're able to set them up for a better financial future as well. But,
and for us, it's more like multi-income, no kids. Mix. Yeah. I'm gonna see if there's trademark. If nobody said that yet, that's gonna be my acronym.
Mink and not Dink.
You heard it here. You heard it here first, hopefully. So yes, multiple streams of income. And to recap, we made a video just after we got married, I believe, about like our joint budget and how we manage our finances as a couple. But to also recap that, really the hack is we live on one income, like one primary income, which at the moment is, we could live on either one of our incomes really, but how it really breaks down logistically is we live on my income, and then anything else he makes from his job, his second job, my second job, like all of that stuff is just the gravy on top that we get to use to fuel and turbocharge our financial goals. So that is really how we approach things. It's, listen, our living expenses, day-to-day stuff, it got to fit on that one stream of income. The other literally 3 that we developed over the course of this debt repayment journey, all of that, every last penny was going toward this goal.
So as she said, we live on one income, and we came up with our number, exactly what we need, bare bones. All right, this is what we need to survive. That's it. And then everything in excess, that's what we just have been throwing towards student loan debt. So that's, the first thing is the multiple streams of income, living on one income. So I guess that's number 2. And then the next most important thing is budgeting. I think that, we'd be completely remiss if we didn't mention that. It's really coming up with that budget and sticking to the budget. If you've been following us on other social media platforms such as Instagram, we even have a TikTok now, we've been really focusing and zoning in on budgeting because we truly believe that that is really the reason why we are where we are. If you have all the income, and we've seen it, some people, they make more money and then they throw it right back out the door because it's, oh, well, I have my job 9 to 5 and it pays my bills and whatever. If I do YouTube, if I do content creation, whatever else I'm doing on the side, that's extra. So I can do this, I can do that. You can, but you just want to be really wise, especially if you have other financial goals and ambitions, to really try and take advantage of that extra income that you might have at that time to fuel those goals and not just throw it at frivolous things.
Yeah, and it's really more about making a conscious choice. Like when you're going down this path, this journey, we were watching our numbers like a hawk. Yeah. So at some point, we knew that this day would be here super early. Like we saw it, we saw the trajectory keep getting closer and closer and closer, and we were tracking those numbers as we got closer and closer. And so I think that's really important. Not only that is it super motivating, I think, to see like, oh, like this month I was able to get another $1,000 from my side gig, so that put us, forward in our trajectory this much. Shorten the time frame by this much. I think that stuff was super empowering for me to watch, and just knowing, and it also helped inform how much money we needed to make to hit our goal too, for our side income, where we look at it and be like, okay, well, in 3 months we should have this amount, and so I know that I have to make this amount in order for us to hit this target. Like we get jazzed up by that kind of stuff. I don't know, we're just nerds like that, but I think it's exciting when you see how close you are to like a huge financial goal. Definitely. And you're able to really track it. Especially the closer it got, the more excited we became. And through those side gigs that we were able to do, they were quite lucrative.
Yeah,
so I would say outside of like our regular household budget that we run on one income, especially toward the end when that money really picked up, there were a couple of months where we had like $7,000 even a couple of months we hit that target. So between his day job and both of our side jobs, this is completely separate from like the business, by the way. We didn't use any business money to do this.
You know, because you guys might be thinking, oh, you know, you're using
YouTube
business
paying that
income.
much?
No, we didn't use that at all.
YouTube don't pay that much.
The business is completely separate. Everything that we make from the business goes right back into it to keep that afloat.
Yeah.
Everything on the side that we're talking, and I mean, we can just tell you, right? All right, so we have our 2 jobs, 2 9-to-5s that we both have. Then I do second job / like consulting for another, you know, the other company that I used to work for. They've been retaining me for almost a year at this point, where, you know, they pay me a hourly rate. So I do that, and I work quite a lot with them, especially during certain seasons. And then the next form of income that we have, or last year for me, I did DoorDash. Where a little bit of that, you know, helped as well. Not really much, but, you know, I'm mentioning it because it is something that you could do if you wanted. What was some other
and then what I did...
I'm talking about for me. I feel like there's more.
No, your day job, the side thing, and DoorDash. Yeah,
okay.
That's it. Yeah, and then for me, I picked up it's not even, I can't even say it's seasonal. Like, the workload ebbs and flows. That's not getting, like, paid a set amount. But basically what I do is I am teaching classes, like financial literacy classes for employees at, you know, big name companies. And so I work with a company to do that. And what they've specifically hired me for, and where I get the most of my jobs, really most of my classes, I get kind of paid per class, essentially. I got really, really busy around Black History Month and Women's Month. February and March were real big months. And that's how we were able to really rake in that amount of money that I was talking about before, you know, on top of already what he makes from his job and other jobs as well, is because a lot of the work that I do is specifically to have like special themed classes around those special months, and leveraging my identity in order to teach those classes and help them out with creating content for those classes and updating content for those classes. That's really what I would say turbocharged that as well. So really using our skills that we have, really this knowledge economy. There are so many opportunities out there that you can leverage if that's the position that you're in. But even if not, like I said, there's DoorDash, there's lots of other opportunities and ways to, at least, even if it's not as much income as we're able to generate right now, and I understand it is a privilege to be able to generate the income that we do have right now. And but there's, my point is there are
every
ways.
Little bit helps.
Yeah,
and I mean, I don't know if this is a knock or whatever, but the reason why social media in itself is so powerful and important, I mean, besides my whatever, I work for them, so they, you know, they asked me, they reached out. It was because of what we do on YouTube that they reached out to her. Both of ours, in a way, it wasn't anything that we were looking for. It was people kind of approached us. So that was a really amazing thing. And thankfully, with our jobs and everything else and the business, we could make it work. Again, because we had that goal in mind, where like, she's like, sometimes it's like, all right, we know how much is coming in from day job 1, boom, that's going in every month. All right, we made $7,000 this month. Oh, wow, we made $5,000 that month. Oh, wow. And we're just like, okay, well, cool. If we do another $10,000 or another whatever, we're going to get there much. So it was just really fun and amazing.
And
like
those are net numbers that I'm quoting. Like, after taxes, after tithing, like, that is what was left. Like, cold hard amounts we were able to put in the bank, put toward loans. And
we don't say that to brag. We're just being as transparent and as honest.
Yeah, because people have asked too. I mean, of course, our income situation ebbs and flows as everyone does over the years. I mean, we shared like more insight into how much we make before, but just to give you a context of like what's happening right now, and I would even say that's kind of seasonal, because right now I'm not teaching no classes for like the next few months, so like that income source has dried up. It's very seasonal, you know. So, but it helped at least for the last few months to really just get us to where we needed to be.
So how are we feeling right now after making this massive $60,000 payment? Because if you were listening before, we didn't have to, right? Forbearance has been extended. We didn't have to make this payment now. But my thought was, it's like, all right, we have this money now. Let's just pay it. You know, the forbearance was going to end. We were working towards this goal to meet this May deadline. And we knew that we needed to make it before May so that we could pay. So it's like we were working towards that, where it's like, yeah, we could save this. But right now, like some people have been saying, and other financial, influencers, it's like money sitting in the bank is really not doing much of anything for you per se, especially in this environment with such high inflation. It's really not doing much of anything. So why have it sit there for another 6 months, a year if they extend it again? It's like we might as well just pay it. It's not doing anything, quote unquote, for us that way either. But at least the loans are down. Like that's my thought process at least.
My thought process is very different from that because putting it into student loans that we don't even have to pay for months, that's certainly not the best use of cash, because we could have taken that same money and gotten more of a return on it, putting it somewhere else or doing something else with it.
But again, it's that unknown, right? If we had put it in a CD that was maybe a year long or 2 years long, if they say September is it and we've made this decision now in April, now that we have the money, it's like, ooh, so now we have to take that out if there's any penalties or anything with these different vehicles that you're using. Now you're taking that hit. So ultimately we would have probably ended up leaving it in the bank account. And so it's like, it just didn't make sense either way. And like I said, to me, it just feels good to be able to say that we paid off $90,000 in, less than 3 years, which some people might say, well, feelings don't matter and blah, 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 blah. It matters to me, okay? Mm-hmm. Personal finance is personal. And contrary to, whatever belief, to popular belief, it's personal. Sometimes you're going to make a decision that isn't the money decision, like Akiva mentioned earlier. Financially, it doesn't make sense for us to pay this amount because of the program that I'm on. Like I mentioned before, I don't necessarily know. I don't know what that will be in the next 3 years, in the next 2 years, in the next year. I don't know. A year ago, I was working at a completely different job, less than a year ago. And now 11 months later, we have $90,000 that we can pay. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you just don't know how things will change and evolve in a short period of time that can be less than a year sometimes. So I just don't like to be boxed in or feel like, I just like to, all right, this is our plan of action. Let's execute, let's work toward it, and let's get it done. That's me. So I feel good about it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how Akiva feels, but I feel great.
I'm okay with it. And going back to what I said earlier, right? Like, marriage is about partnership. It's about compromise. It's about making sure that you both feel good with the decision. So although I might have preferred to go a different direction, I feel happy knowing, at the end of the day, it's still a big accomplishment, right? At the end of the day, paying off that amount of debt, no matter which way you look at it, is still an accomplishment. And I feel happy also knowing that he's happy and at peace with that decision. And that makes me happy as well. And so I'm fine with it. At the end of the day, right, we could have made much worse decisions with that money. So, it's not the most optimized, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. And so I'm super happy. I'm super proud that we were able to do this. Super grateful to God for giving us the ability to make the income that we were able to make in order to do this as quickly as we have. And just feeling good about this and about the future.
Yeah. So you might be wondering, what's next? And honestly, we're not planning to pay down another $90,000 in 3 years. That it's not the plan. The plan, now that we have paid off all of our high interest debt, is to kind of go on cruise, kind of, sort of. Really, we'll see how things go. But for right now, we have a plan that we're planning to execute. So we're planning to pay off all of our debt in about another 4 years or so. Or a little bit less than that. I might have the date a little bit off, but that's the plan.
It's like 4.5.
Yeah, that's the plan right now, is to pay off the remaining $70,000 in about that time frame. And hey, if forbearance gets extended again into 2023, great. Because you know what? There's no more interest that's accruing, if it gets extended again into 2023 for a little while longer. So that's just a plus for us. Anything that we get at this point is gravy. If they throw a little, student loan forgiveness our way, $5,000 each, $10,000 each, again, it's just a blessing, but our ultimate goal is to pay it off. We're not waiting for anyone, as Akiva has mentioned, the knight in the shining armor to come and save us.
Joe Biden ain't coming as a knight in shining armor riding on a horse to come save us, all right? I ain't waiting for that.
We are planning to pay this off and to eradicate our student loan debt out of our lives, and then the only debt that we'll have left is our home, which spoiler alert, we are not going to plan to pay that off.
Yeah, don't anticipate no video on that. At least right now.
So yeah, that's not the plan right now. Right now, we're just trying to get student loan debt out the picture. We have no credit card debt, no medical debt, thank God. So that's really it. That's the plan right now. Yeah. That's the future. That's the vision that we're looking towards. Right. And then also saving towards other goals. I think that we have had a lot, as you guys, if you watch our net worth updates, we got a lot of cash, right? We got a sinking fund for this, a budget for that, or whatever. So I think we're also really confident and really happy with that. We're not, oh, well, we need to save more money towards this or more money towards that. Honestly, I can say right now that we're really comfortable, and I'm really thankful that God has blessed us in the way that He has, where again, we're able to live on one income and essentially have that second income to do with as we please. So as this payment, is done, now things are shifting even more, because it's like, okay, now we don't have to pay as much. We know what we need to pay on a monthly basis to make it happen in 4 years. Like, we can decide if we want to, okay. If we wanted to. This probably will never happen. Like, all right, let's, take a month off from work if we want to do that. Let's do this, let's do that. We're probably not going to do that. But I'm just saying, like, the feeling and the freedom of being able to, like, hey, we're at a stage where we can kind of do what we want. We can increase our retirement contributions.
I was going to talk about that, because that's what we have done, and we're honestly planning to increase it some more. Because again, trying to optimize, like, what is highest and best use for our money right now. And as we are freed up that cash, now more can go into the markets where it can be working more for us, because we also don't want to have to be working until the day we die. Yes. Like we start to have that conversation as, okay, what does retirement look like for us? Or, work optional retirement sounds like really like old and morbid. But when do we want to be work optional? Like what do we want our life to look like in the future? And so the more we can put into the markets now and just do other things with our lives that don't have to do with debt, it's gonna be fun.
So, as always, we want to have conversation with you down below. So tell us what you think about what our plan is, what we're doing, paying off this $60,000, bringing us up to $90,000, what your thoughts are. We want to know. Thanks so much for watching this video. We really appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when we post new valuable content like this.
And if you want to learn more information about our financial journey, our values, our philosophy, some of the secrets that we've used over the years to really turbocharge our finances, we'll definitely have a link down in the description box to our free webinar that you can go watch at any time, and you'll learn more about that there.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!